So what do you think about the Carlisle hire for Indiana and his fit with the roster?
I mean, it's definitely an upgrade. Just to have someone as competent as Rick Carlisle on the sideline. Absolutely.
So now, Mort, let's turn to some coaching news. And the reason that the Bucks missed their window to fire Mike Budenholzer is because Rick Carlisle is no longer on the market. After leaving the Dallas Mavericks, he quickly agreed to terms with the Indiana Pacers on a 4-year, $29 million contract. He is going back. He coached there for 4 years back in the mid-2000s. I mean, there have been plenty of reports kind of detailing why Carlisle left when he did, and I don't want to call it like a toxic culture, but it didn't seem like things were especially great in Dallas at the end there, with Donnie Nelson feuding with Bob. I don't even remember his last name. Bulgaris.
Haralabob or whatever.
Yeah, Haralabob. Yeah, and then Carlisle and Luka apparently didn't quite see eye to eye all the time. What do you think about Indiana? At 1 year after the failed Nate Bjorkgren experiment, we're at least bringing in a coach who very experienced, won a championship with the Mavericks in 2010-11.
Right.
He has not won a playoff series since then, though, Mort. So what do you think about the Carlisle hire for Indiana and his fit with the roster?
I mean, it's definitely an upgrade. Just to have someone as competent as Rick Carlisle on the sideline. Absolutely. It really depends on the roster, though. At the end of the day, a coach is only as good as the quality of his roster, Tom Thibodeau not necessarily withstanding. And I just wonder, what is this roster going to look like? Because we heard everything from locker room issues to, a lot of people internally believing that the Sabonis Turner front court doesn't work, that you need to do something else. Like, what is this roster going to look like? Are they going to retool? Are they going to rebuild? Are they going to stay mostly together and work from within? I don't know, but I do think regardless of what they do, be it rebuild, retool, stay together, that Rick Carlisle is going to come in and be serious right off the bat and help them develop, help them get better. So that's a positive, but I also, just for his sake, I'm enormously curious to see what they end up doing with this roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they are at a very weird point in their team building because, I mean, look, they have most of their main players under contract, I think, for the next 2 years at least, right? I mean, Brogdon, Sabonis, Turner, and LeVert are all under contract through 22-23. TJ Warren, Jeremy Lamb are under contract for the upcoming season as well. Justin Holiday is signed through 22-23. The only notable free agents they have this offseason are TJ McConnell and Doug McDermott. So, we had Caitlin Cooper on back before Bjorkgren got fired. Yeah. And we were talking about, like, is run it back a viable strategy for this team? I think you can make the argument that it is. Are they a top tier title contender with this roster? No. But, with Rick Carlisle coaching, with better health, if the guys don't check out halfway through, I think it's a pretty clear, safe playoff team, right?
Yeah, it should be. If it's not, something is wrong. We're talking about the Jokic of the East in Sabonis, and I don't know why there are NBA media members who hate him. I will never understand that. I think he's 20, 12, almost 7 assists, over 50% from the field. I mean, I just don't see the issue with Sabonis whatsoever. You have Malcolm Brogdon, who I'm not going to get into too much because you and I already went deep on Malcolm Brogdon when we did our Ben Simmons video on YouTube. So if you haven't checked that out, go to there. Caris LeVert, offensive upside, playmaking upside, shot creation upside. You just have so much shot-making versatility in him. He's going to be... I thought when they had Victor Oladipo, this team was very robotic, very Lithuanian in the sense that everything had to move in certain patterns. But LeVert is the guy who comes in and does something weird or wild and Like, he can create something out of nothing, and I think they needed that craziness a little bit just to kind of shake up their offense a little bit. Then they have Miles Turner, DPOY candidate, obviously. Will never transform himself into the offensive player that you and I have hoped for, but that may be okay. Like, TJ Warren, I don't know if we're getting bubble TJ or if we're getting some other version, but he can definitely put the ball in the basket. O'Shea Brissett played wonderfully during his stint this year.
Yeah,
They're like Edmund Sumner. They're good. They have tremendous talent. They might actually be one of the most talented teams in the entire Eastern Conference. And they just didn't really put it together. So if there's a guy out there who might be able to, that should be Carlisle.
Yeah.
Do they have enough shot making, like from an individual perspective? I don't know. Do they have enough overall defense? I don't know. There are definitely some issues there. But I think if you can plug some holes and you can just get together as a group and not have a fractured locker room as well, that's a pretty good start.
Right. I mean, the good thing from Indiana's perspective is that if they do want to retool, which I think is a viable strategy for them this offseason, none of their guys are severely overpaid. I mean, Brogdon is he's earning the most of any Pacer at $21.7 million next year.
And he's underpaid.
Right. So is Sabonis at 19.8. Yes. You know, Miles Turner at 18 is a pretty reasonable contract. LeVert at 17.5. TJ Warren at 12.9.
Yep.
Jeremy Lamb's probably their most overpaid player at 10.5. But like, they have plenty of salary matching chips if they want to get in on a bigger deal. Like, if they finally decide we're breaking up Sabonis and Turner, you know, fine. It should be pretty easy to find a taker for one of those two teams, especially now that Danny Ainge isn't in the league anymore.
Big time.
But I mean, it is. I think that the Carlisle fit's going to be interesting because of his reputation with point guards in particular. I'm interested to see what happens with Malcolm Brogdon. But, you know, having a Karis LeVert there, like you just come off of having a non-traditional point guard in Luka, and I'm not saying Karis LeVert is anywhere near the talent of Luka Doncic.
Right.
But he's also a guy who can handle the ball a lot. And hell, I mean, Sabonis, a lot of your offense is going to run through him. So I'm fascinated to see how Carlisle adjusts to either this roster, if they keep it in place, or however the Pacers decide to retool this summer. You know, what specific needs they address.
Mm-hmm.